spot. Started a heart attack underneath my skin. Watch how you react when you see the state I'm in. I was the one that you always said that you wanted. I was the one that you always just took for granted. I know that you might not let those bad times. At least they made me feel alive. At least they made me feel alive. At least they made me feel alive. Can't apologize for the helplessness I feel, even just a smile.
Attention please. Send your collie to the nurse's station. Send your collie to the nurse's station. Thank you.
Look, Brutus, you know as well as I do that Whiskey had it coming. Okay, he literally spent the entire, pre-game lobby talking about how badly he wanted to stab me in the butt. So I was provided the perfect opportunity to return the favor. Can you blame me? Can you really blame me? I mean, come on. He basically, all he talked about was stabbing me in the butt. And it was such a reversal, I stabbed him right in the butt. How the turntables, Whiskey. What's up, guys? Welcome in. Broster, good to see you. Rob Map, Serum, Dorky Wolf, Bendy Warp. Get that coffee. Yes, get that coffee. Shugaka, I see you up there with the tea. That's okay. More coffee for me. I like tea too, but hey, more coffee for me. Captain Snuggly Cactus, what's up? Midland the Wolf, hey. I see you all the way up there. Tori Darkfire, hey. What's up, guys? Rain Ratty. Rain Ratty? Ratty. I do it, I will do it. And I'll do it again. Don't make me do it a third time though, so help me God, I'll stab you 3 times. Justified but sus. You know what? I'm okay with that. I'm okay with being sus as long as it's justified. Why wouldn't you stab people in the butt? Wait. Why wouldn't you stab people in the butt? Wait, Serum wouldn't stab people in the butt? Serum, if you're provided an opportunity to stab someone in the butt in VR Among Us, you take the opportunity. Especially when they were going to try to stab you in the butt. It's just irony. You just get them back. I thought Cinder was... Wait, BTM Bunk? What do you mean? Mastermind, what do you mean? Captain Grumpy, hey! Welcome in! You going to do a better job at looking over the sheep today? Okay. Good luck. Hopefully we don't lose any. Although, chat, you guys like to lose my sheep that I worked so hard to get in the damn pen, and then I go to the bathroom. All I do is I go to the bathroom, like anybody would, and next thing I know, all my freaking sheep are gone. I'm looking at you, chat. Your fault. But they're tasty. You better not be eating them. Oh, you better not be eating them. Do not eat my sheep, please. You're not sus? Thank you, Colt. Thank you. I appreciate somebody understanding that the flops are trustful. You can trust these flops. That's my slogan. You can trust these flops. There you go. From the flops to the beans, outdated. Old slogan, outdated. Nobody wants it anymore. It's overused. New slogan, you can trust these flops. No, probably not. You can coming from the flops to the beans sounds pretty good. I think I'll keep that one. Collie Care is a scam? Shh. Shh. Give away my secrets. Hope you're having a good day, but it looks like us sheep aren't. Wait, why isn't a sheep having a good day? Who's having a bad day? Also, Brutus, thanks for the follow at the start of the stream. Welcome to Flobby Flock, welcome in. Raxorus, thanks for the follow. Welcome to Flobby Flock, welcome in. Was I gonna go to MFF this year? Absolutely. I've been to MFF every year since 2009, minus 2016. So I went every year except for 2016 since 2009.
You can't fault me. I'm a wolf, not my fault. Your sheep taste delicious.
Air Arctic Wolf, god damn it, you eat my sheep, you can have your bits. But I appreciate you making Tuck stands. Look at that werewolf. Quality werewolf. You're a fast chatter? You should host auctions? I don't know if I can talk that fast. Is that Cinder Collie? Where? Oh wait, hold on, wrong expression. Wait. I guess that one works. Where? Where's Cinder? I don't see him around. But yeah, so I'm really bummed about MFF. Obviously, I understand why. I can't, you know, there was no way in hell that it was going to happen, given everything, right? But it doesn't mean it can't be a little sad that it's not happening. A little sad. This time of year is my favorite. And going to MFF is like my favorite thing to do this time of year because it's so great. The snow, the lights. It's great. Stupid COVID. Gonna go to FE 2021 if it's a thing? Am I? So I have never done an international con. I really want to go to FE. And I really want to go to a European con too. FE, that's Fertile Equinox. That's in Toronto, right? Toronto? Right? Eurofurence would be awesome. Tux and I have talked about taking trips out there and like spending like a long weekend out there, like a 2 or 3 week vacation over in Europe and try to plan it around Eurofurence so we could go. I don't know how I feel about dragging my fursuit all through Europe though. Ever been to FWA? Yeah. I've been 5 times. I used to be on staff. I used to work in registration. Anthro Southeast? No, I haven't been there. I see a marker? Yes, it's my marker. It whispers things to my ear like, make us whole, and dismember their limbs, and just weird, crazy, nonsensical garbage language. But hey, it looks pretty, and I got it off this planet. It was hovering around Titan, you know, off the moon of, what was that, Jupiter? And I thought I'd keep it around. It looked nice, and it glows. I'm gonna come fuzzled over here in the UK. I'd love to do that. I would. Right now, my plans for next year, obviously FWA is not gonna happen. It's just not. There's no way. AC, maybe if it happens. If AC happens, I'm going. But I don't even know if it's gonna happen. My first convention back is probably gonna be MFF next year. MFF 2021. Ideally would be the best time to go. But we'll see. It's kind of out of our control at the moment, you know? Confirm under all that forest cinders and necromorphs. Don't give away my secrets! Tremor, I told you that. In confidence. Tremor! Did you try to put a wristband on them? Like at the hospital registration? I wasn't there for that year. MFF and FW are my favorites. MFF, 100% MFF favorite con. Favorite con, always has been. Like I said, the time of year is great. I love the hotel. I grew up like 20 minutes from that hotel. Like, I love that area, right? Like, it's my childhood. FWA is awesome because of the fact that the hotel is really good. The Marriott Marquis is fantastic. And there's so much to do around the area. There's so much food. There's so many options. I love it just for that. And you just stay in the hotel because the hotel's great. And if you don't want to stay in the hotel, you're right in the heart of downtown Atlanta, which is an amazing city. I wonder what Cinder Voice is. It's what I'm doing now, but for 5 old minutes. But don't worry about it because I do it pretty much the whole stream anyway. So just don't waste your points on it. You gotta get rid of it. FWA has so many cool venues like World of Coke and the Aquarium. Yes, oh dude, the Aquarium. When you go to the Atlanta Aquarium and you go to the deep sea area of the Atlanta Aquarium, and you walk out and look at that massive picture window that they have. Oh, it's so cool. It's so cool. Ah, I miss going. I miss going there. If you cross a necromorph and a collie, you get Cinder. Are you implying that I'm as ugly as a necromorph? Wow! 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 Cindermorph Cinder? No! No, please! Ruster, coming with 100 bits.
Spend the
make
money
a
on
tough stance.
taking off Cinder's bandana. It's the best bargain in the lot.
Hey! Don't make me naked. Ruster, thanks for the 100 bits. Make a tuck stance. Werewolf, look at that werewolf. Quality freaking werewolf. Dragon Sex Slave, thanks for the follow. Welcome to Floppy Flock. Hell of a name. Wow. Automod really going hard on the word erotic. Okay. Cinder's the cutest collie? Well, thank you. Did someone else's streams? In someone else's stream, 8Ball called me ugly. So wait, who called you ugly? Why did you get called ugly? Cinder's a cute bean? Well, thank you. Hard on the word. Pico! Damn it, Pico! Oh, it's an 8-ball. Like a magic 8-ball like that you shake? Do they have like virtual ones of those now? Make flops great again? Hey! These flops are already great. We don't gotta make them great, they're already great. You started your first Dead Space playthrough and it's good? Dude, it's awesome. The first Dead Space is great. Mod God, spare me. There, I spared you. The first Dead Space is awesome. You will enjoy it. You will enjoy it. The story is really good. The setting is amazing. Ooh, the setting is so good. What's Classroom about today? We're gonna talk about blood tests. The last time we talked about it was when I was in VR, and it was just kind of a mess. So we're gonna do it again. And this time, we're not doing it in VR. Make America gay again? It's already pretty gay. I played the second, but I played the third. I haven't played the third, and I don't really intend on it. I don't know. I'm kind of satisfied with what I got from Dead Space 1 and 2. That I don't really feel like I want to play 3 because I've heard it's bad. Flame Aura! The story! Alright. Parfait, thanks for the follow. Welcome to Floppy Flock. Welcome in. Wish Stream, thanks for the follow. Welcome to Floppy Flock. Welcome in. I'll give you, Flame, I'll give you two options. You want the story about how I got kicked in the face? Or do you want the story about my little old lady who fell down and hit her head? My order of fun, Dead Space 2, Dead Space 1, Dead Space Extraction, 3 doesn't exist. I've never played Extraction. Flame, you gotta pick! Flame Aura! You gotta pick! Which one do you want? You wanna hear the story about how I got kicked in the face? Or do you wanna hear the story about my old lady who fell and hit her head? You gotta pick one! You wanna, okay, the kick. Okay, this is an older story. Because it was back in, it would've been early 2015. I wasn't a nurse yet. I was about to start working as a nurse. I was still working as a CNA. And this was my first experience. This was my first exposure to emergency room medicine. So working as a CNA in a major university system, I worked with the float pool. So I was a PRN tech, right? So I would call in to like my manager on the days that I wanted to work and say, hey, do you guys need me anywhere? And then they would give me on my assignment and I would go do whatever it was, right? So I would go to like surgical floors, medical floors, oncology floors, sometimes to the nursing home that was established with the hospital, sometimes to the emergency department, sometimes to the ICU, right? I kind of went all over the system, primarily working as a sitter, right? So if you have a patient who needs a one-to-one sitter, whether they're like suicidal or if they're like a danger to themselves or others, someone else, right? So maybe they have dementia, they can't be trusted on their own, or they're high fall risk and they keep climbing out of bed, right? There's a number of reasons why you might need a sitter for a patient. But so that's what I did. I did that as I was waiting to take my NCLEX and become a nurse. I did that for a couple months. And my first exposure to the emergency department was I got called to go work as a sitter in the ER overnight for a psych patient. So it was in the back of the emergency department, there was an area specifically designated for psych patients. And the room had nothing in it, so that all of the monitors and everything, a giant like metal door from the ceiling came down and closed it all off. So what you could have was essentially a bare, empty room with nothing but a stretcher and a gurney in it. Or a gurney and a bed, like a stretcher. Whatever you want to call it, stretcher, gurney, you know what I mean? The idea being that if you're risk for suicide, we can't put you in a room where you might be able to harm yourself. So I get called in to go sit on this patient, and not physically sit on him, but work as a sitter, to sit outside their room and observe them and make sure they didn't hurt themselves. Well, this lady was she was very sick. I feel bad for her. She was very sick mentally. So the first thing that she did was, so if you think of like, here, hold on, let me show a picture here. If you think of like a gurney, like a hospital gurney, it kind of looks something like this, right? So you got like a bed, right? And it sits up, and then you got these rails with these vertical bars, right? So what she did, I don't know how the hell she did this. So this lady, she was not small by any means. She was a rather large lady. If you can imagine, her feet were down here and her head were up here. She like sat up and kind of like brought her knees to her chest and then threw her legs out this side. Her head went this way, and now she's laying perpendicular on the bed in between the rails. It happened so quickly and smoothly that there's no way this was the first time she's done this. I mean, she literally went from laying on the bed 1 minute to like doing this weird ab crunch, and then like boom, was like sideways on the bed, right? Like tangled up in these bars. It took us a hot damn minute to get her out of there, right? It took us a while. We had to like kind of bend her in weird ways to get her off of the gurney, right? Because you can't sit like that. Like, it's dangerous, right? So what we end up doing after that is we take the mattress off the bed. So the mattress is removable. And the nurse at the time, because I wasn't in charge of this, I'm just sitting there helping. The nurse was like, "Okay, you've lost your gurney privileges. You now get a mattress on the floor because we can't trust you with the gurney because you just did that crazy stunt." Drew, thanks for the follow. Welcome to Floppy Flock. Welcome in. What's up, Urzu? But wait, it gets better. So we took the gurney away. All right, I'm trying to remember the events because it's been a while. It's been 5 years now since this happened. What do I use? Is it VC Face? It is. It is VC Face. Okay, so we took the mattress off the gurney and we put it on the floor. Right, this is on the floor of a hospital room in the emergency department. Right, and, I mean, it's clean enough, but you've obviously proven that we can't trust you, right? So I'm sitting there. She's kind of just laying on the bed, doing her thing, and then she rolls off the bed onto her stomach on the hard tile floor and just starts banging her head against the floor like a child having a tantrum. She just started like smacking the front of her head on the floor, and it was making this like nasty like hollow just thud, right, with every hit, because she was putting some real damn force into it. So I like ran into the room and like dove down and tried to get my hand up underneath her forehead to try to keep her from busting her head open, and she was still trying to smack her head against the floor, even though my hand was on it. But at least she wasn't, hitting it anymore. So we were like, okay, this is ridiculous. You got to go back on the gurney because we can't have you do this now. Oh, no. Okay, hold on. So I missed a part. So before she got herself tangled up in the gurney, the first thing that she did that I thought was weird was she stood up and bent over and put her forearms on the bed, right? So she was like kind of like bent over at the hip, right? And just started shaking her butt. And she just started shaking her butt. And she was like, I'm having a seizure. And just like was just twerking, essentially, while telling us that she was having a seizure. And the nurse comes in and was like, you are not having a seizure. You would not be talking to me if you were. What you're doing is shaking your butt. And she was just sitting there, just shaking her butt. I'm having a seizure. So we got her off the floor, put her on the stretcher, right? So she just got done bashing her head into the floor. We got her up off the floor, got her into the stretcher, right? And the nurse was like, okay, we gotta break out the restraints now, right? We can't, we've run out of options. We got to get restraints. We have two types of restraints in the hospital. We have soft restraints and we have hard restraints. Soft restraints are softer. They're not as durable. They're more for like your like maybe your dementia patients who you don't want getting out of bed, right? They're not really used to hold down combative people, right? Because they're softer, they're gentler. So we put her in soft restraints, and she just straight up hulks out of them. She just like sat up and just was like, ugh, poof, and like the restraints just like popped off the bed, which was quite in its own right a scene. It was quite the scene because I don't think I've ever seen anybody bust out of those restraints quite the way she did. Because she was sitting up. If you think of like your legs are straight in front of you and you're kind of sitting at a 45-degree angle, right? Her arms were strapped down to her sides, and she literally sat up and just like chest flied them, right? You do like your dumbbell flies. She like flied them and just ripped them off, right? And just like whoosh, they just flew off the bed. So now we have to get the hard restraints involved. The hard restraints, you have to get security for those because those are like, I don't want to say they're like police restraints, but they're like hard, nylon restraints with like metal clips and stuff, right? They are super, super heavy duty. So we're getting those set up. And this is a long-winded story to talk about how I got kicked in the face, but here comes the climax. So we're getting those set up, and I'm at the foot of the bed trying to get her anklet hooked up because we do 4-point restraints, so arm, ankles and wrists. So like I had the restraint, I had the anklet on her, and I was trying to connect the anklet to the hook, to the anchor. And as I was doing that, she bent her knee. Now, mind you, I'm like crouched at the foot of the gurney. She bent her knee, and I look up, and all I see coming towards me is a giant heel.
No tiger for cuffs.
Hold on, Broster, I'll get to that in a second. No tiger for cuffs. I can break these cuffs. You can't break those cuffs. So I was trying to attach the anklet to the anchor, and I look up, and all I see is this massive heel come flying towards me, hit me right up underneath the chin, and actually knocked me onto my butt, and I kind of like slid back a bit. It dazed me pretty good. It's probably the hardest I've been hit by a patient. It got me pretty good. I would have exploded in anger at that point. I mean, I was dazed. Like, I got kicked in the face. I didn't know what happened. And then by the time everything settled in, I was like, oh, you just kicked me in the face. Also, you can't get angry is the thing. You can't get angry. That's what I explain to people why my job is hard. That's one of the reasons is because you can't get angry. You have to just be okay with it to a degree. But yeah, we ended up getting her in restraints, and we gave her a crap ton of medications, and she went to sleep for like the rest of the shift because we medically sedated her or medically restrained her. Which, by the way, we don't like using physical restraints that often in the hospital. We prefer chemical restraints such as sedatives. So long gone are the days of placing patients in posy vests and wrist restraints and all these things. We just give you Ativan and Benadryl and Haldol and knock you out. Won't be causing issues when you're sleeping. Anyways, Claymora, there's your story about how the psych patient kicked me square in the face and knocked me on my ass. That was a crazy night. I think that's when I realized I wanted to go into medicine, like ER medicine. I was like, this is kind of fun, but also super crazy. The only way I'd still eat mellow is if I had lithium samples. Wait, what are you, Broster, why? What are you talking about, Broster? Gotta love psych. Jake, I do not. Whenever I get, well, okay, let me rephrase that. Sometimes I do. Cam Doggo, thanks for the follow. Welcome, Fobby Flock. Welcome in. So I get rotated to psych regularly. So in our emergency department, we have a specific area, just like, I guess not every emergency department has this, but we do. We have like 5 or 6 rooms that are dedicated mental health rooms, right? They're dedicated psych rooms. And one nurse is usually assigned to those rooms. Just, that's all you do all day is emergency medicine, mental health, right? From a nursing standpoint, it's actually pretty easy. Because all I have to do is get a urine sample, get some blood work, and do an EKG. And then I give them food and something to drink, and then they go, and that's it. If you can keep them fed, most people behave. So, have you guys ever heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs? Have you guys ever heard of this? Lemony Cobra, thanks for the follow. Welcome to Flobby Flock. Welcome in. Dude, Air Arctic Wolf. Air Arctic Wolf giving on tier 1 sub to Psycho Fox. Dude, Psycho Fox, you're coming under collie care from the flops to the beans. I got you covered. Thanks, Air Arctic Wolf. Damn. Also, how was it? Was that better? Did the alert, was it deafeningly loud, or was that better? So if you're unfamiliar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it is this guy Maslow, what was his name? Who made this? Abraham Maslow came up with this. It is his idea of what humans need for essentially self-fulfillment, right? Our basic needs, right? Our hierarchy of needs. What's most important to us to what's least important to us for us as humans, right? So the first 2 levels of Maslow's hierarchy of needs are your basic needs, right? Food, water, warmth, rest, security, and safety, right? That is the basic foundation that every human needs to feel some level of fulfillment, right? Does it make sense? So when we have patients who come in to the emergency department for psychological emergencies, right? Whether they're feeling suicidal, acutely psychotic, homicidal, right? Any of these things that can happen with patients and their mental health, our goal is to try to offer this basic level of needs right here, right? Because a lot of these patients, unfortunately, don't have that. A lot of them are homeless. A lot of them don't have food. A lot of them are cold, especially in the winter. We get a high rise in mental health complaints in the winter because you get a lot of the homeless population looking for a place to stay. And the easiest way to get in the emergency department when you're a frequent flyer is to say that you're suicidal, because we have to see you. We can't not see. I mean, we can't not see anybody, but we definitely can't not see you if you indicate that you have suicidal ideations. So my goal as the mental health nurse when I work is to provide these needs, right? Psych patients are the only patients in the entire hospital who get food. I'm sorry, not in the entire hospital, in the emergency department, who we allow to eat. Everybody else who comes into the emergency department, we do not let you eat. As soon as you hit the bed in the emergency department and I start doing stuff to you, you cannot eat. Not until we get the results back, and not until we know if we need to do surgery on you or not. Because as far as we're concerned, you're coming to the emergency room for an emergency, which means that there might be an emergency, which means we need to keep all of our options available, which means that you don't eat or drink the entire time you're there. Except for psych patients. Psych patients, in order to meet Maslow's basic needs, get food, water. I'll usually give them a nice blanket, right? We take all their stuff away from them so we can ensure their safety so they don't have anything that they can harm themselves with, right? And we provide that for them. Once you meet that basic needs, I find that patients, especially like some of your like psychotic patients, become much easier to deal with because you have now met their needs. Also, generally speaking, if you give people food, they calm down. It's hard to act up with a full belly. It really is. It really is. It's hard to act up with a full belly. I never got food when I went there for self-harm. I mean, that's our policy. I don't know what every hospital does, but that's our policy. I was at the hospital as well yesterday as well. Crashed off my bike, landed on the shoulder, messed up the rotator cuff, hurts like hell. Did you go to the ER? You go to, what is it? Did you go like ER or did you go to like urgent care? What'd you do? Kebab? Oh, I love kebab. I want some kebab. First thing to do with the hostage crisis teams on all the cop shows, feed them. Yes. You'd be surprised how much so when you eat food, you trigger your parasympathetic nervous system, right? Rest and digest. So you have your sympathetic nervous system and your parasympathetic nervous system, right? So your sympathetic nervous system is responsible for like dangers and stressful situations, right? So this is your adrenaline, your heart rate, right? So if you reach like your fight or flight, right? So your sympathetic nervous system is your fight or flight, right? Stressful situation, making quick decisions, you know, why do you feel like, you're never hungry when you're stressed out, right? You're never hungry because your body focuses on other things, right? And then you have your parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for rest and digest, is how I remember that. So if you have a patient who is psychotic or is like starting to act up, right? You give them some food and their body automatically starts to kind of rest, right? How many times do you eat food and afterwards you just get that you get that itis, right? You're just like, ugh, just want to lay here, take a little nap, right? That's your parasympathetic nervous system kicking in. Rest and digest. Focus all of your resources, the extra resources that you have in your body, to digesting that food and getting the energy from it. That's why you get sleepy afterwards. Why sometimes your hands get cold after you eat, because you start shunting blood to the abdomen to help with digestion. It happens to me all the time. So I find that typically when you feed somebody, they tend to chill out. My hospital policy for suicide patients would strap them to a bed in a room with no light and no one else for an unidentified amount of time. Well, that sounds unethical and inhumane. Like, that nobody should be doing that in 2020. That is like a massive, massive problem. Zeke Fox! Smells like a fox grade? Yeah! I can smell you from a mile away! Zeke Fox coming with the rate of 11. Dude, guys, what is up? Zeke Fox, what are you playing? Welcome in, thanks for sharing your community with mine, and thanks for blasting my ears. Oh, one for Andrew WK. You're playing Hyrule Warriors. Nice. How many kills did you get? You just start slashing through all the bodies. Just keep on slashing. When I was 13, I got shot in the shoulder with an arrow during PE class. I had to go to the ER. Did they take it out? Also, like, how far? Did it go through? Tusky! What's up, Tusky? Alright. You guys ready to learn? You guys ready to learn? Are ya? Are ya? No? Well, too bad. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of no's on there. Why the hell did you show up to class if you didn't want to learn? What? Anubis, it's good questions, right? If someone tells me, hey, I got shot in the shoulder with an arrow, I want to know, how far did it go? Did it puncture all the way through? It's important to know. It's important. I get dizzy randomly a lot. Never figured out why. Just I haven't been dizzy for 3 months. Why do I get dizzy? I don't know. See your doctor. They'll send you to a neurologist. The neurologist will do an MRI. They'll probably tell you nothing's wrong and you'll spend thousands of dollars. But also, I don't know. If it ever gets really bad, just go get checked out. Those target shafts can go through a hay bale, so... Ooh, it could go all the way through. I can't say I've ever taken care of a arrow puncture before. Taking care of gunshots, but not arrows. Ghoulish Guardian, thanks for the follow. Welcome to Bobby Flock. Welcome in. Alright. I had an MRI in my head and they saw nothing. What, no brain? Nothing? Nothing, Broster? Are you dead? Are you dead? There was no activity? King Wolf, thanks for the follow. Welcome to Bobby Flock. Alright, guys. a little bit of a drier topic today. A little bit more, I don't want to say technical, but less, it's going to be less exciting than you might think. Because yesterday was fun. I enjoy teaching about diabetes. It's a topic I know pretty well. So for me, it's enjoyable to teach because a lot of it clicks, right? The last time I did this lecture, we were doing it in VR, and I was trying to do it in the VR classroom, and it kind of worked, but it wasn't the best. So we're going to redo it again, and today, we'll talk about lab work. Well, you know what? Let's try it like this. Say blood work. You know when you go into the emergency department, and I'm your nurse, and I walk in there, and I put an IV in your arm, you probably cry about it, because most people do, because you guys are all a bunch of babies. But I put an IV in your arm, and then I take about 20 vials of blood. Inevitably, my patient's going to ask me, you're going to ask me, why do you need so much blood? And I'm probably going to give you this look, because I get that question all the damn time. But now you'll have an idea of why we got to get so much blood. More like 200, but it is not 200. It's like, okay, hold on, let me see. We got CVC, CMP, tropes, your blue top. So we got what? Purple, yellow, green, blue, red. Your gray top, 2 cultures. 3 sets of cultures. So 1, 2, 8. So about 11 max. If we take all of the blood that we usually get orders for, it's about 11 tubes, with 2 of them being these like massive tubes, right? Like blood culture tubes. Why do you need so much blood? It's mine. I want to keep it. Well, then you shouldn't have come to the emergency department, because we need it. You forfeited your blood when you came to us. We can't help you without blood work. My grandfather wound up in the ER 5 times in 2 months in 2018 and kept joking with the nurses. They were sucking him dry. I always tell patients, they're like, are you going to leave me? Are you going to leave me any blood? And I'm like, just enough. Don't worry. I don't make a habit out of killing anybody. Just admit it's over 9,000 tubes. It's not. I won't admit it. It's maybe like 8,000. Mayday, hey, what's up? Welcome in. Alright guys, so let's start out with some basic ones. Anybody know what CBC stands for? This one has a purple top. Complete blood count. Yes. Cute blue collar. No. But thank you. So a CBC, complete blood count. This is very basic blood work that we get on just about everybody gets a CBC. So your 2 most basic blood work is going to be your complete blood count and then your metabolic profile. Your CBC can tell you a lot. It can tell you CO2 concentration, a couple other things. But there's 4 important things that we get from here that I am concerned about. There are 4 important ones, okay? Your white blood cell count. Your WBCs, right? Your hemoglobin, hematocrit, and then your platelets. Something like that, right? So your white blood cell count. So we can check your blood to see how many white blood cells you have in your blood, right? A higher presence of white blood cells in your blood indicates infection. So if you have an elevated white blood cell count, it means that you have an infection somewhere, because your body is responding to that infection by producing more white blood cells to fight it, okay? There's a range for this, and now remember, these ranges vary based by hospital. Every hospital has its own different set of ranges. I'm getting kind of like the basic. Some hospitals have a little bit of a tighter range, some are a little bit looser. It just depends on where you're at. White blood cell count, generally speaking, you want between like 4.0 and like 10.5. When you start getting up into like the 14s and the 15s and the 16s, right? That's when you're like, oh crap, this person's got a pretty bad infection, right? And while I'm going through this, I'm going to give you guys some examples of some really out of whack out of whack blood work that I've seen. So if 4.0 to 10.1 to 10.5 is normal for white blood cell count, I had a patient once with a white blood cell count of 35. Was the highest I've seen. They were, as I like to say, septic as shit. They were really sick. And they were really sick. We're talking multi-organ infection and dysfunction. It was bad. They were doing really bad. That's the highest I've ever seen for a white blood cell count is 35. Kai or Jake, if you guys are in here, throw some lab values my way. Tell me what's the highest you've seen. All right, hemoglobin. So hemoglobin, we talked about hemoglobin yesterday when we were talking about your hemoglobin A1C. 75? Holy crap. Lactate was 32. Oh my god. Jake, were you taking care of a lemon? That's so acidic. Oh my god. 75. What was the infection? Well, I mean, obviously they're septic, right? They had to have been septic. With a lactic of 32 and a white blood cell count of 75, we had to ECMO the patient. Doesn't surprise me. Oh, Jesus. Did they make it? Did they make it? This was this was recently. Oh, I gotta turn on my fan. That was recently? No, they didn't make it, as I didn't think they would. Jesus. 75. Oh my god. Hi, you haven't kept records? I recommend, so I keep in my phone, I call it the Lab Value Hall of Fame. So every time I get a ridiculously high lab value, I write it down, and I like to keep track of them. Because we've seen some crazy things. I'm gonna ask you guys more questions about that soon because, especially when we get to like potassium, right? Crazy low and high levels of potassium are terrifying. Okay, hemoglobin. So we talked about hemoglobin yesterday. It's the part of the red blood cell that oxygen can bind to, right? So if you have low amounts of hemoglobin, that means that most likely you're losing blood somewhere. So hemoglobin and hematocrit are kind of go hand in hand. If I remember correctly, it's about 3 times. It's usually, so your hematocrit is roughly 3 times more than what your hemoglobin is. But essentially, the hemoglobin and hematocrit are a way for us to tell, like, the volume of blood that you have, right? So if you have patients who are bleeding a lot, their hemoglobin's going to drop, right? If you have patients who are like in a traumatic experience or something, their hemoglobin is going to drop. Normal value for hemoglobin is roughly about 12.5. That looks like 125. To 17. Will coming out with the 5 pants making tux dance. Look at that werewolf. Quality werewolf. And then your hematocrit is 36 to 50. Now, when it comes to hemoglobin, when you drop below 7.5 hemoglobin, we usually transfuse you with blood. At least at my hospital, if you drop below 7.5, we give you blood. So, because that means that you're losing blood somewhere, you're anemic. And a lot of patients, especially when you start to get lower and lower amounts of hemoglobin, their oxygen saturation starts to drop because you don't have enough hemoglobin. So you can throw as much oxygen at them as you want, but they don't have enough buses to carry that oxygen around the body. So their body starts to break down. Things start to get, there starts to be perfusion issues and hypoxic issues, right? Because they're not getting oxygen. The lowest hemoglobin I have seen on a patient who was awake was 3.5. That's pretty damn low. Jake and Kai, let me see if you remember, what's the lowest hemoglobin you've seen on a patient who was awake? There's a difference. If you're not awake, most of my lab values that I talk about are for patients who are awake. Because when you get those patients who are not awake, I mean, there's a reason why. It's because their labs are so out of whack. I never really keep track of hematocrit because I care more about hemoglobin. Did I ever keep... I don't think I ever recorded platelets. 3.6, awake and feeling fine. Yeah, it's amazing how much people... I bet, were they pale? My 3.5 patient was pale as a ghost. It looked like a bed sheet. And then the other important one we care about is platelets. Obviously, platelets are what help your body clot. I've had If you go under 140, you start to get low. You start to get what we call like thrombocytopenia, where you don't have enough platelets, and then your blood isn't able to clot as well. 3.5 for me as well. Oh, River! Dude, Rivard, what's up? Yes, we're talking about lab value. You'll know a lot about this. So, as far as I'm concerned, these are the big ones that you care about on your CBC, with these two right here being the ones that I care the most about. I want to know your white blood cell count, and I want to know your hemoglobin. I got to know if you have an infection, and I got to know if, you know, you're bleeding somewhere. Did I miss much of the class? Nope. You're welcome in. We just started. Is that shock making them feel okay? No. Remember, shock is a condition that happens where your body goes into like, you have this massive, it's a perfusion issue, right? Shock is a perfusion issue. There are reasons why you can go into shock, but generally what we associate with like, when you think of like shock, like, oh, they're in shock, that's why they didn't feel any pain. That's more just the adrenaline and the endorphins running as your body protects itself. It's not what we would traditionally call shock, right? When you think of shock, you think of like cardiogenic shock or septic shock, right? Or neurogenic shock, something like that, that causes the body to have this massive vasodilation throughout the entire body, right? Or a lack of volume that leads to perfusion issues. So try not to use one. Don't think of shock as something like it's not what you think. What you're thinking about is probably more just the adrenaline and the endorphins and your body protecting itself during stressful situations.
Shotspot!
Abacoa, I see you with the rate of 1. What's up? Welcome in. Thanks for the host. Shazbot. Had someone at 3.8 and they were a Jehovah's Witness, so we couldn't transfuse them. I mean, that's their choice. We can tell them why we think it's a bad choice, but that's their choice. Anybody know what CMP stands for? Good old yellow top. And it's got like this stuff on the bottom of it too. That. Comprehensive metabolic profile. River, of course you know that. Yeah, of course you know the answer. Don't be... Let somebody else answer. Of course you know. You know what a CMP is. Is that why I didn't feel as much pain when I broke my leg? Probably. Your body does a really good job of protecting yourself. Wrong conversation. Longest I've seen is 4.2 and someone awake. That's pretty good though. 4.2 is good. Is it ethical to have a wide... Is it ethical to have a wide as a personal registered nurse? Is it realistic? What do you mean wide? Do you mean wife? I'm sorry, what do you mean? Is it ethical to have a wife as a personal registered nurse? What do you mean? Like, take care of you when you're at home, or like to be your nurse when you go to the hospital? If you ask me from, like, if you're just taking care of someone at home, you know, just like chicken soup and cold medicine and making sure they're hydrated, that's fine. When we start getting into like professional practice, I would consider it inappropriate for a wife to take care of somebody, because you cannot have that separation of personal and professional. You need to be able to put up a boundary, right? You need to be able to put up that barrier. So I don't take care of people that I know. Fabio, thanks for the follow. Welcome to Bobby Flock. Welcome in. Also, is the music too loud? How's the music sound, guys? Do you want me to turn it down a bit? Turn it down a bit. All right. So your CMP. So your metabolic profile. This one is important. This one tells us a lot about your body. It tells us basically all about like your electrolytes, your sugar, your liver function, your kidney function, right? There's a lot we can get from this. One of the first things that you see when we get the results is going to be the glucose, which we talked about glucose yesterday. That's your blood sugar, right? Normal blood sugar is about 70 to 100. We've talked about what happens when it gets too high and too low yesterday during the diabetes talk. What about the ones covered by Colicare? Nothing is covered by Colicare. You know this. Does Colicare cover suppositories? No. Okay, so you know your glucose, 70 to 100. That's going to be your normal value. Your BUN. You guys remember when we talked about? You guys remember our kidney conversation? Does anybody remember what BUN is? I thought I was coming from the floss to the beans. You are. Well, I don't cover you for anything. River, of course you know. Stands for bunnies? No, it doesn't stand for bunnies. It stands for blood urea nitrogen. It's a waste product that your kidneys get rid of. So if your BUN is elevated, that means that your kidneys are not functioning properly, right? So it's something we can look at in your blood, the value we can get to determine how your kidneys are doing. I actually don't have any written down for what a normal BUN is. But we can also, for kidneys, look at their creatinine. We're going to pretend like that says creatinine. 70 to 100 glucose is value for adult patient. Yeah, just assume everything I'm talking about is about adults, because when you start getting into kids, pediatric things get different. And I'm not going to go into that because I don't want to. Creatinine. So creatinine, just like blood urea nitrogen, is a waste product that your kidneys get rid of, right? We tend to be more focused on the creatinine than the BUN, if we're being honest. At the very least, I've never had a doctor refuse to do a CT scan with an elevated BUN and a normal creatinine. But I've had docs refuse to do a CT scan for a patient with a high creatinine and a normal BUN. Granted, generally speaking, if one is high, the other one's going to be elevated as well, because they're both measuring kidney function. And if one part of the kidney starts to go bad, probably other parts of the kidneys are going to go bad as well. You use creatine. Creatine, that's different. This is creatinine. I don't know how they're different. I just know that they're different. Normal creatinine is going to be about 0.75. We generally say anything, as you start to get closer to like 1.5, anything like 1.5 and above, we probably aren't going to use contrast dye for our CT scan. Because we need the kidneys to be able to clear that contrast dye, and if the kidney function is so poor that your creatinine level is that elevated, we can't give it to you. The highest creatinine I've ever seen on a patient, now, for River, Jake, and Kai, I'm going to preface this. The highest creatinine you have ever seen on a non-dialysis patient. A patient who is not currently on dialysis. The patient that I got mine from, very shortly thereafter, went on dialysis, but at the time that I took care of them, they were not on dialysis. The highest creatinine I've ever seen. This guy was, he actually has a couple of my records. 28.4. And he was not a dialysis patient. When you start getting into dialysis patients, your creatinine levels get crazy high because the dialysis takes them out. 28.4. I've never seen anybody with a creatinine higher than that who wasn't on dialysis. Now, like I said, this guy shortly thereafter went on dialysis because his kidneys were quite obviously failing, or they had failed. Usually we start dialysis in the ED before arriving to ICU. Really? We do not do dialysis in the emergency department. I have had patients come in who require emergent dialysis, and we will send them up to the dialysis unit. We do not start that in the emergency department. And take care points. I'm stricken. Hey, you're gonna take my bandana off. I need it. It's cold. Don't take it off, please. Please. I'm begging you. Please don't take it off. Please. It's been so long since I've had you guys take it off like every freaking stream. Hey, it's the guy who stabbed whiskey in the butt. And I'll do it again if given the opportunity. I've seen upper teens with ED patients, but I had no idea of their dialysis history. So I spend one night a week in the ED in case there's any ICU patients that come in. Look at you, the ICU and the ED getting along. I'm happy to hear that, Jake. Because okay, let me ask you, I'm going to ask you a question. I want an honest answer, Jake. I want an honest answer. And Kai, you too, because you're in the ICU as well. And River, you as well. I know you work in phlebotomy, but you've interacted with ER folk. What do you guys think of us? I can tell you what we think of the ICU, but what do you guys think of emergency department nurses? Like, be honest. Tell me. Do you think we're careless? Do you think we're dirty? Do you think we're stupid? Do you think we don't know what we're doing? Or do you guys like understand the craziness. I'm curious because I know what I think of ICU nurses. I think ICU nurses are a bunch of like, you guys were like the nerdy ones in class, right? Who had all their textbook all highlighted by color with tabs that they could turn to and super organized, right? And oh, the mean arterial pressure, dipped below 0.01%, so we need to titrate this medication by 1-2 micrograms a second to get it back up. Like, that's what I think of ICU, right? That's what I think of ICU. That's how I imagine you guys are doing. You're all hyper and energetic, and we yell at each other a lot. Our ED nurses are amazing. Had to teach a lot of ED nurses in New York City for critical care, and they did exceptionally well. I understand the craziness for sure, but I think ED nurses need to stop hemolyzing the dang blood. Hold on. Rivard, listen to me. That was a gorgeous 18 gauge IV that I just placed in this massive AC vein. I turned the tube like 10 times like you want. There's no way in hell that hemolyzed. You're just screwing it up. It's your fault. It's your fault. It was gorgeous. It was like the best IV I've ever placed. There's no way it hemolyzed. All in all, though, you guys, you ICU nurses, you guys are, I don't know how you do it. Because my patients that end up in the ICU, getting a snippet of what ICU life is like down in the emergency department, where you have like 5 drips running and you're managing all this stuff, it's exhausting, man. How do you keep up? I can't do it. I can't keep that many things running in my head at once. I'm better off just like treat them and street them, right? Like, here you go, you're fine, leave, bye. Okay, what's wrong with you? Okay, you're fine, okay, bye. Nurses talk about veins as the most horny, non-horny thing ever, I swear. Anubis, we talk about how plump and juicy and just massive those veins are, and what big things we'd love to just shove into them. Walk up to my friend and I palpate their AC vein. I'm like, yeah, I could probably get a 16 gauge in there. Maybe a 14 gauge if you're really hydrated, but definitely a 16. 18 would be a breeze. Definitely would put a 16 in you though. It sounds a little erotic. It does. We got new drip pump holders. They power 6 pumps. 6 freaking pumps. How many medications are you titrating? Oh my god. I freak out when I have a patient on like a Cardizem drip and I gotta check it every 15 minutes. Or I feel bad if I have a patient on an insulin drip and I forget to check their sugar after an hour and I'm worried about killing them. Like, I can't imagine that many at once. I heard big throbbing vein. Moss, god damn it, you would come in right as I'm talking sexy about veins. Moss the Fox, what's up? Quad lumen. Yeah, let me get that quad lumen in the central line. Yeah, we're just gonna go right in through that juicy femoral artery. Feed it right up into the inferior vena cava. That thing's gonna give me so much blood. Yeah. Oh. Dude, our docs hate doing central lines. Our docs will never do central lines for us unless it's desperate. They would rather we IO a patient than start a central line. I swear to God. The amount of times that we've been like, we need a central line, and doc's like, just IO them, and we're like, motherfucker, we need a central line. God damn it. All right, blood work. TOS. Tink, boss. All right, so you got your glucose, you got your kidney function. Now we're gonna talk about some electrolytes. What's Na+? Anubis, we're getting there. What's Na? Come on, guys, what's your chemistry? What's Na? It's friggin' sodium. Salt. Normal range for sodium, roughly speaking. 135 to 145. Now, here is the interesting thing about sodium. Where sodium goes, water follows, right? It increases the osmolarity of where it is, right? So, if you have a high blood salt level, right? So hypernatremia, what we call it, high natremia salt in blood, right? High salt in blood. Your blood pressure goes up because fluid gets pulled out of the cells and into the blood, right? Because you have a lot of salt in there and your body tries to dilute it out. So fluid leaves the cells, dehydrating them, going into the vascular system, and that makes your blood pressure high. That's why high salty diets lead to hypertension, right? But this also affects other things. I've had a run of hyponatremic patients at work this week. Kai, we're going to get into hyponatremia in just a second because I want to know. Start thinking, what's the lowest sodium you've seen on a patient who's awake? Lowest sodium you've seen on a patient who's awake. Alternatively, when you have low sodium, fluid leaks out of the veins and into the cells, and you get a lot of swelling, right? You get a lot of, especially in the brain. So the easiest way that I think about sodium, the brain does not like when your sodium is altered. The brain does not like when your sodium is altered, especially when it's low. When you have patients who come in with extremely low sodium, they are altered. They have altered mental status. And they're confused. Usually they're acting up, and they are not acting right. The lowest sodium I have ever seen on a patient who was awake was 116, which is critically low. So remember, by the way, we have differences. So you have like your normal range of blood work, right? And then you have like your high range, right? And then past that, you have your critical range, right? So once you get far enough out of whack, you go from having it being high to being critical. This is a critical lab value. They will call you, the lab will actually call you and say, hey, we need to report this to you because it is a critical lab value, right? 16 sodium is a critical lab value because it's so far out of range. You'd think that with sodium this low, the easiest thing to do would be just to give them a bunch of fluid, right? A bunch of salt. Well, guess what happens if you give someone who has low sodium a bunch of salt? You can, remember when we talked about neurons? We talked about the myelin sheath on the neuron, right? You got your like little thing that, little dendrites that come out of here, right? You got your neuron. Remember we talked about this myelin sheath that makes up the neurons? You can demyelinate that. If you give too much salt too quickly, you can actually damage that myelin sheath, and you get what we call locked-in syndrome. If I remember this correctly, $108 awake, no seizure activity, that's good. 118, that's pretty good too. 108 is really damn low. I want to make sure I get this right. Locked-in syndrome is locked in, L-O-C-K-E-D, locked in syndrome. So what happens is like if you give too much salt too quickly, you demyelinate the neurons, and essentially you have a patient who can no longer, they're paralyzed, but they're still conscious. So they're literally locked in. Most of the time they still have some kind of like ocular movement, like they can move their eyes a bit, but they can't move, they can't speak, they can't do anything voluntary. All that's left is involuntary. So if you have a patient with really low sodium levels and you blast them full of sodium chloride, which is just normal saline, you could put them into locked-in syndrome. And as far as we know, there's no cure for it. You're just stuck as an empty husk in your own brain. It's terrifying. So don't mess with sodium. Sodium is very scary. What's K? They did an episode of House on that. I'm not surprised. They do a lot of like obscure things.
Shotspot.
Thanks for the host. Potassium. Probably, if I had to pick one lab value that's the most important out of every single one that we look at, this is probably it. We've talked about before with my heart lecture. What does potassium do? What does potassium do? Rick, hey! Muscle contractility. Yes, it helps with muscle contractions. More importantly, potassium relaxes muscle. Okay? That's how I think about it. Potassium relaxes muscle. So if your potassium is too high, your muscles don't contract. If your potassium is too low, your muscles contract too easily, right? That's the easiest way to think about it. For example, if you ever been out and done any kind of strenuous exercise and you sweat a lot, you lose potassium in your sweat, and then what happens to your muscle? You get a cramp, right? You start to cramp up because your muscles they contract too easily, right? So, morbid example, capital punishment, when they do capital punishment for the death penalty, one of the things they do is they give a high dose of potassium. Because what happens? You give a lot of potassium, you have a lot of this potassium in your blood, potassium relaxes muscle. Well, your heart's a muscle. So what happens to your heart? Your heart just relaxes. It doesn't contract anymore. And it dies. So, potassium relaxes muscle. Low potassium, you're at very high risk for throwing abnormal heart rhythms and potentially lethal heart rhythms because of that. Your heart can become too easily contracted. It can be too easily excited. You start going into what we call like VFib or VTAC or even AFib, right? Some of these rhythms that are life-threatening, right? If your potassium gets too high, your heart rhythm starts to kind of like it. The best way to explain it is like if you have like your normal heartbeat, right? Oh, that's really bad. Right, so like there's your normal QRS complex. As the potassium gets higher, this gets wider, right? Because the heart here is normal, right? So you get a nice quick QRS. But as you have higher amounts of potassium, the heart's relaxed. So it doesn't work as quickly, right? It takes a little bit longer time because it's relaxed. Well, the longer and longer that this QRS complex stretches out, eventually you just end up with like a sine wave, right? Until eventually it just stops. And then you die. Is that because it's not contracting? It is contracting, it's just not contracting super well organized. Until eventually it stops contracting. It's hard not to think of your granny. She passed away. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear about that. I'm sorry. Hopefully she went peacefully. Also, Kowalski, hey, welcome in. All right. This is usually the one that gets, this one gets changed up a lot on my Lab Value Hall of Fame because potassium is so, you can lose it and gain it in so many different ways. The lowest potassium I've ever seen on a patient who wasn't dead was 1.9. They were doing some weird things on the monitor. Their heart was doing some weird ass stuff. It was not good. We're pretty sure we coded them a few times, but they still had a pulse at one point. The highest potassium. So, by the way, this is going to be. This is the same patient. The highest potassium I've ever seen on a patient was 8.7. Have you played Among Us before? Oh yeah. Played a lot of it. So the lowest I've seen was 1.9, and the highest I've seen is 8.7. And when we, dude, I wish you guys could see what this rhythm looked like at 8.7, because me and the doc both walked into the room because I had him on the monitor, and as soon as I put the monitor on him, and this guy, the guy was he looked like crap, right? He had what I call look like shit syndrome, LLSS. He's one of those patients that you look at him and you're like, ugh, you look like shit, right? Because like you're so sick that you can physically see how sick they are. So he had a bad case of look like shit syndrome. And when I eventually got him hooked up on the monitor, I saw the rhythm that I hooked him up to, and I was like, I need to get the doc because this is weird. I shot an EKG, I brought it over to the doc, and me and the doc looked at it, and we were like, I don't know what the hell's going on here. We got all of his blood work back, and lo and behold, his potassium was 8.7. This guy went into kidney failure is what happened with him. He waited 2 weeks. His kidneys had been failing for 2 weeks before he came into the emergency department. He said he started having symptoms 2 weeks ago and eventually got to a point where he had to come in and get checked. That's why his creatinine was 28.4, and that's why his potassium was 8.7, because his kidneys failed him. The heart wasn't happy? No, it was like, I mean, it looked bad. It was like, it almost looked like VTAC almost, because it was like bad, right? It looked really ugly. Right? You see enough normal rhythms, right? You see enough of this every day that eventually when you start seeing things that look like this, you're like, what the hell is going on with that? You're like, don't do that. That's not good. Crimson Midnight, thanks for the follow. Welcome to Flobby Flock. Welcome in. But hey, we're not done with our CMP. Magnesium. What does magnesium do? We did glucose and insulin, Kai. That's what we prefer. We use we give them a 250 bolus of D10 with usually about 10 units of intravenous insulin, and then we give them calcium gluconate as well. Mag burns. It does burn. Magnesium helps with smooth muscle contraction. So magnesium levels can also affect your heart. If you have low or high levels of magnesium, it can affect your heart. It doesn't affect it quite nearly as badly as potassium does, but I've seen patients go into some abnormal rhythms with low magnesium. Specifically, one rhythm that you'll see with magnesium issues is what we call torsades de pointes, which looks kind of like this. Where you kind of get these like, you get these areas of like big spikes with little spikes, big spikes, little spikes. This is something that you see with magnesium, which we call torsades de pointes. Let me see if I can actually find a picture of it. There's a good one. There you go. That's what torsades de pointes looks like. Not good. So this one actually, it almost looks like, so sometimes you can have what's called an R on T phenomenon, where part of the heartbeat falls on a different part of the heartbeat and kind of screws up the heart and short circuits it. And it almost looks like what happened here. So there's your PVC, and then it goes straight into torsades. But you see how it's kind of like big, then small, then big, then small. You see how it kind of has that wave like that has to do with that's magnesium. That's magnesium. But I'm pretty sure this is your culprit right here. This PVC that probably landed on the wrong part of the heartbeat. It looks like it landed on a T-wave. Shock or not shock? You shock. This is VFib. This is a type of VFib. This is a ventricular fibrillation. But it's a specific type of ventricular fibrillation. Yeah, you shock the hell out of this. This is not organized in any way, sense, or form. Is this organized? Normal magnesium levels are usually about 1.7 to about 2.5. We see a lot of people with low magnesium. It's not as dangerous as potassium, but it's something we need to fix. There's a lot of other things that come on your CMP, your metabolic profile. You can get your chloride levels from there. You can get all of your liver function tests, like your bilirubin and your ALTs and whatnot. I don't really pay attention to that stuff because usually if you have liver failure, we know about it, and you know, I don't know, it's not really. It's the kidney function that's more concerning for me. All right, coagulation studies. This guy comes in a blue top. Well, that looked mildly phallic-like. A couple things that we can get from this blue top. Who's ever heard of INR? Who has a loved one who takes a blood thinner such as Coumadin or Xarelto or Eliquis, or maybe currently taking one? River, of course you know what INR is. Of course you know. Of course. I would hope you do. I would hope that you do. Flaccid blood. Captain Grubby. Ill. Gross. INR stands for International Normalized Ratio, which doesn't really tell you what we test, what it's used for. But your INR is essentially a way that we can calculate. It's just kind of a number that we use to determine how coagulable, how well your blood coagulates. There we go. It's a way to determine how well your blood coagulates, right? So for certain patients, we want their blood to take longer to clot, right? So patients who are at risk for blood clots, your AFib patients, right? Patients with atrial fibrillation, patients who have had previous strokes, or patients who have had previous blood clots such as DVTs, right? Or pulmonary embolisms. We sometimes will give them medications to prevent their blood from clotting, to prevent them from making clots, because they have a history of it, right? one of the things that we can test to see where they're at is their INR. INR, we like to keep in a specific range because we know within that range that their risk for developing a clot is a lot smaller, right? Depending on your doctor, this is something you usually talk about with your doctor, is where you want it. Some people, they want them to be hypertherapeutic. Some people, they want them to be like right on base. Usually it's anywhere from like, you get like 0.7 to 1.2. Some doctors in some places will want you like between like 2.0 and 2.5, depending on what you need it for, right? So some patients need to be more anticoagulated than others. So this one kind of varies. Debbie Arts, thanks for the follow. Welcome to Floppy Flock. Welcome in. It's Adventure Fox. Thanks for the follow. Welcome to Floppy Flock. Welcome in. The other thing we can get off this is what we call a PT, which is a prothrombin time, which essentially is how long it takes your blood to clot. Usually this is like 9 to 12 seconds, but it can change depending on what medications we're giving. One important thing that we get off of this. Who knows what a D-dimer is? Has anybody heard of D-dimer? Lionel Wolf, thanks for the follow. Welcome to Floppy Flock. Welcome in. Has anybody heard of D-dimer? I promise you guys we're almost done. Anybody? D-dimer? Okay. Sounds like a funny gamer name.
Shazbot!
Metalworking, thanks for the host. A D-dimer is, for lack of a better term, D-dimer is an inflammatory marker. So it is something that we can look at that, if it's elevated, could indicate increased inflammation. Importantly, though, what we can use D-dimers for is if your D-dimer is elevated, the likelihood of you having a blood clot is higher. So, for example, patient comes in with shortness of breath and chest pain that gets worse with deep breathing, right? If you come in with shortness of breath and like a sharp chest pain that gets worse with deep breathing, our first thought's probably going to be pulmonary embolism, which is a blood clot in the lung. One of the tests that we can do to check for that is a D-dimer. If your D-dimer is elevated, there's a good likelihood that you have a blood clot somewhere, right? And if you're having pain in your chest with shortness of breath, most likely it's going to be in your lungs. Now, you can have a blood clot and a pulmonary embolism without an elevated D-dimer, but if we find that you have an elevated D-dimer, you are going to get a CT scan with IV contrast to look at your lungs. Unless your kidney function is crap, in which case we're going to probably do a VQ scan, which is old and outdated, but we got to do something. So D-dimer is something we can look at essentially to determine if we're concerned about pulmonary embolism or not. Best way to think about it. Usually for this, anything less than 0.05 or 0.50 is considered normal. What are we teaching today? We're talking about blood work. What are your two primary cardiac enzymes? River, you can answer this one, or either of the nurses can answer this one if you guys want. What are the two cardiac enzymes that you're most concerned about? One's easy. Troponin. What's the other one? Creatine kinase? Not quite. What about BNP? Yeah, BNP is pretty important for us. Heart failure. Those are the two ones that we care the most about. We do look at CK as well, but primarily for like our cardiac stuff, when we draw cardiac enzymes, it's these two primaries. Only if we suspect heart failure. I guess that's fair. We do it on like everybody because we just assume everybody's got heart failure because we need to know that it's such a like ubiquitous lab value that we get on like all of our chest painers and shortness of breaths, which is like 80% of our patients. That we do it literally. I draw this all the time. So troponin. Troponin, we've talked about before in the past what troponin is. Troponin is an enzyme that's released by the cardiac muscle when it is damaged. So if you have damage to your heart, either from excess strain or from a heart attack, like an ischemic heart attack where you're actually blocking circulation to the heart and the muscle starts to damage and die, you will see elevations of troponin levels in your blood. Troponin sometimes doesn't spike right away. sometimes what'll happen is that you can have a heart attack, maybe a minor one, and the troponin doesn't get into the bloodstream right away, right? Sometimes that muscle can take a little bit of time before it starts getting damaged enough to actually release troponin. So what'll happen is if you come in with chest pain, a lot of times we would like to keep patients overnight to recheck their troponin in the morning, because sometimes it can take up to 12 hours, even sometimes 24 hours to see a change in troponin levels if you've had a heart attack. Now, if we start to see that your troponin levels are elevated and you're having chest pain, we can safely assume that you're having a heart attack. Troponin levels generally run between 0 and 0.4. I'm sorry, not 0.4. It's like 0. I screwed that up. It's like 0.012, I think. It's pretty low. It's pretty low. But I feel like 0.4 is high. It's the highest trope I've ever seen. Oh, yeah. I remember that one. That one was good. It shouldn't be that big. Your troponin level should be pretty low. I'll say 0.12. Below 0.01. Yeah, it's something crazy like that. It's really low. I think ours is 0.0012. Anyways, the highest I've seen, 11.7. I've seen a troponin of 11.7. Patient was having a heart attack. Actively having a heart attack. I'm pretty sure at that point they were having a STEMI, which is even worse. But they were actively having a heart attack at 11.7. That is ridiculously high troponin level. BNP. B-type, what is it? B-type natriuretic peptide. It's a thing. BNP is a lab value that we can test to essentially look at heart strain. So patients with congestive heart failure, as their heart starts to pump ineffectively, BNP is released into the blood, right? It's something that can just, I'm not as comfortable with BNP in terms of how it works versus troponin, but just know that the higher the BNP, the worse the heart failure is, okay? Highest trope, 500, Jesus Christ. What I mean, I imagine they went through multiple rounds of CPR and shock and probably even surgery for that, because that's some extensive damage to the heart. What's a STEMI? ST elevated myocardial infarction. A STEMI, so the difference between, I could do a whole lecture on STEMIs versus non-STEMIs, but an NSTEMI and a STEMI. These are your two different types of heart attacks. So MI stands for myocardial infarction, which is a heart attack, right? Myocardial being the heart muscle, infarction being like blockage, right? A non-STEMI means that you don't have any changes to the EKG. So what the STE stands for is ST segment elevation. So when we're looking at an EKG, right, of a heart, you have this little part right here we call the ST segment, right? So this is after you got your QRS, and then this is your T wave. This little area right here should not be, it should be flat, right? What you'll see sometimes with patients who are having really, really bad heart attacks is you get something like this, where you get an elevation in that ST segment, right? The reason for this is, and that's my best way of drawing it, but the reason for this is that when you start to damage certain areas of the heart, so if remember what our EKG is telling us, right? It's energy over time, right? So this is an electrical current that we're reading, and it's how strong it's either going away or towards, right, in the heart. If you have damaged heart muscle, the electrical impulse takes longer to work around that damaged impulse, so you get this lagging behind of your waveform, right? As it takes longer to go through that damaged muscle or has to go around it, it shows up as a longer waveform or a pulling out of the waveform, right? So the difference between a non-STEMI and non-STEMI and a STEMI is this one goes to cath lab and this one doesn't. What is coded? It's when you have cardiac arrest. Coded 5 times before they get to cath lab. Yeah, I'm not surprised that their tropes were 500 after all that. If I had to have a heart attack, I want a non-STEMI. It means that we didn't damage the heart muscle enough. Essentially, I'll put it this way. The difference between the two is that A STEMI, the heart attack is significant enough to alter the electrical pathway of the heart. There is enough damage to the heart to alter the electrical pathways of the heart. Whereas with a non-STEMI, you have damage to the heart, but it's not enough to affect the electrical conductivity through it. That is the major problem. This is a problem because as this electrical signal starts to get worse and worse, it can throw you into abnormal heart rhythms. And obviously the damage to that area of the heart is so significant that it needs to be treated right away because it's become so significant that it's actually altering your rhythm. It's not good. No, STEMIs are bad. There's two things we do. When a STEMI hits the floor, when a STEMI comes to the unit, right, when they come in from EMS or we find out that we have a patient who's having a STEMI, we do two things. We alert cath lab and we throw them on a defibrillator. And we do a whole crap ton of other things too, but those are the first two things you do. Tell cath lab to get ready and you slap a defibrillator on them and you set it to monitor because you never know when they're going to go. BNP levels vary depending on age. The older you get, the higher the tolerance for BNP you can have. Generally speaking, you don't want this number to be too high. Most people have like maybe in the hundreds, right? If you're really, really bad CHF patient, you'll have in like the single thousands, like 7,000, 8,000. The highest BNP I've ever seen on a patient was 209,000 on a non-dialysis patient, which, by the way, also was the same patient. Was also the same patient as my guy with the potassium of 8.7 and the creatinine of 28. Wouldn't Mona apply at that point? Mona does apply as a STEMI at your acute coronary, your ACI, what is it, ACI, acute coronary interventions, whatever your ACLS stuff that you go through. Mona, which is morphine, oxygen, nitroglycerin, and aspirin. It's LLSS, not LOSS. LLSS. Look like shit syndrome. Yeah, that was our look like shit syndrome guy. This was crazy. I've never seen a lab value that high before. Last one I'm going to talk about. I was going to talk about our pregnancy stuff, but like HCG, qualitative and quantitative, but Don't ever come to the emergency department for a pregnancy test, please. We use the same ones that you can get over at CVS. Just go there and spend a couple bucks. It's going to be much cheaper than an ER bill to do the same damn test. Believe me. I'm not even going to talk about pregnancy tests. What is normal BNP? It's pretty low. Usually like 0 to like low hundreds. We've talked about lactic acid before in the past. Lactic acid is a byproduct of your body trying to survive when it doesn't have oxygen or sugar. Primarily oxygen, though. So if you go into septic shock, because your body is not getting the perfusion that it needs, it starts to use alternative energy sources and lactic acid starts to build up. Lactic acid can also... there is also one more that we draw off here. Hold on before we move on. The ammonia level. We can check how much ammonia you have in your blood. This is really big for alcoholics, especially end-stage alcoholics who have really bad cirrhosis of the liver. The liver is responsible, or manages and gets rid of ammonia buildup in your body, which is a toxin. And if your liver fails you, your ammonia levels can get super high. And when your ammonia levels get super high, you get extremely confused and sometimes unconscious. So we can check ammonia levels off this as well. That one needs to be put on ice. Can't send that down normally. You have to put it in an ice pack or put some ice on it. It's got to be chilled. Isn't lactic acid what makes muscle hurt after working out? I think so. I don't know. I've always been told it's lactic acid. But it can also get into your blood, which is not good because as things start to break down, as you start to get sicker and sicker, your lactic acid levels are going to rise. You're going to become more acidotic, right? We've talked about acid-base balances, how important that is. This is primarily seen in like our septic patients. App Red Pick, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the Floppy Flock. Welcome in. Dragonite Drago, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the Floppy Flock. Welcome in. Lactic acid levels, usually normal-ish, like 0.5, like 2. Usually when you start getting above 2, we get concerned. When you start getting to like 3 and 4, that's when we know you're septic. The highest lactic I've ever seen was 11.4. And she was extremely septic. Extremely septic. Highest I've seen is 19. That's pretty good. I think, Jake, you said you had one earlier. I'm not going to scroll all the way up. You had one earlier that was pretty high. It was like in the 30s, right? Anyways, that's my lecture. 35. God damn. What do you know? Do you remember the backstory on it, Jake? I imagine just like what? How did they get that septic? What happened? Highest that was eventually discharged was 17. How did they get to 35? You don't get to 30. You don't get to a lactic acid level of 35 overnight. That takes a lot of. I don't even know. What is septic? It's when you have an infection that gets to more than one body system or organ system. Generally speaking, for just to think about easier, it's an infection that spreads to the bloodstream. And once the infection gets in your bloodstream, it can go anywhere. Cardiogenic shock status post cabbage times 4. Okay, that makes sense. I forgot your lactic acid level can go up from just standard non-infectious, non-septic shock too. All right. I really need to go to the bathroom. I need to take a quick bio break. Director Pumpkin, thanks for the follow. Welcome to Flyby's Lock. Welcome in. Quick bio break. I'm going to grab a little snack. And then we are going to play more Talos Principle. When you have diabetes and you mess up your foot, that value would be high. If you let it get bad enough, eventually it would go up. I'll turn the music up. I'll be right back. Be right back. Watch the sheep, okay? Please. Alright, who screwed up this time? Who did it? One of you guys screwed up. There's some sheep missing. I can see it. I can see it. I'm looking at them right now. They're just leaving. You guys want more granola bar ASMR here in a second? Oh, I'm back. I got a granola bar. I got some water. I was going to the bathroom and Jake poked his head in. My dog poked his head in and just stared at me. Like, can I help you? Try to go to the bathroom here, and he's just sitting there just staring at me from the doorway. I'm like, what? What do you want? Hmm. Can I help you? I'm trying to use the restroom and you're just looking at it, you're just sitting there like, just staring at me. Only a couple sheep have been turned into snacks? It could be worse.
He's asking why you get to go inside and he has to go outside.
Well, he knows why he's got to go outside because he's a dog. And if I could teach him how to poop in the toilet, I would. He knows why. Plus, he likes it out there. Russell, thanks for the 100 bits. Thanks for making Tux dance. I appreciate it. Oh, I'm almost done with this. Almost done with this granola bar. Oh. Hold on. I'm eating. A little bit of sugar. Anyo PDX, thanks for the follow. Welcome, Floppy Flock. Welcome in, North Dog. What's up, North? The fellow Flop Dog. Guys, can we get some flops in the chat for North Dog? Spam those flops. Son of a bitch. I've been drinking water my whole life and I still somehow managed to spill on myself. Like, are we serious? How have we not figured this out by now here, brain? Water goes into your mouth, not on your shirt. God. All right. I got my food. I got water spilled on me because I'm stupid. It's time to play some games. You guys ready? You guys ready to play some more Talos Principle? I think we so far, we have not run into a puzzle that we have not completed. We had that one yesterday that took us a while, but we got it. We have not run into one yet that we have not completed. I want to continue that trend. Better shirt than your pants, making it look like you pissed yourself. I promise it's just water. It just spilled, but my hands were wet. Oh, I didn't know this was a Devolver Digital game. I like Devolver. Been lurking for a while, listening to you talk about blood and such. Lovely. Oh, North Dog, thanks. I appreciate it. Alright, we finished all those yesterday. Now we get to go do these. I hate these ones. I hate the ones with the recorder. Hard. Rob Map, you're getting better. You'll learn. Beep, beep, beep. Beep, beep. It's our friend. Beep, beep. Beep, 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 beep. Beep, beep. You got anything new to say? No. Okay. Puzzles! Yes, Samuel the Foxtail, puzzles! Oh, this one sounds fun. Huh. Okay, it's not gonna be that easy, huh? It's not gonna be that easy, huh? What does this one use? Okay, there are plates somewhere. How we doing today? We're doing well. How are you? Am I missing, like, an area here? You just woke up? Well, hopefully you slept well. Oh. And then we're gonna run this over here. Take me, yes! Okay, I know what I have to do. I know what I have to do. You stayed up pretty late with my roommate? Alright, now, you like that? And then he'll jump up on there, and I'll be able to jump up there. Huh. Now what? Is there a nipple ankle principle I'm not aware of? A nip ankle principle? I mean, if you act out of line, you're gonna get nipped in the ankle. It's gonna happen. I'm sorry, it's just the rules. Oh god. Huh. So that was definitely like the right way to do it. But now... Oh, okay. What's blue and white and naked all over? I swear to God, if you paid for my bandana to come off because you're saying that joke, so that way you can say, haha, Cinder, it's you. God freaking damn it, I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Stream's canceled. Stream's canceled. Bye. You think I'm joking? I am. All right, fine. Hold on. You wanted this. There. Now we get to compliment all your veins. Don't look at my veins. Get out of here. Those are mine. I know, yes, I'm naked. Everybody look at the naked collie. Ha ha. Ha ha ha. Cinder's naked. Oh my god. Disgusting. Alright, so I need to get both of those up there now. Question is, how do I do that? Oh, okay, I know how. You don't have a collar? You're gonna get captured by the animal shelter? No, please! They're gonna catch me. Then. I don't want to go back to the kettles, please. Please, I've already been there a couple times. I don't want to go back. Please, don't let me go back to the kettles. You're gonna get sent to the pound? No! Please, Kodai, please, no! I'm an innocent doggo, I promise. And that's how you do that puzzle. Hey, that actually worked. I didn't know if that was gonna work. Sweet. All right. I guess I could have also used this too, but you know. Fundraiser to buy a Cinder collar? No, it's either all or nothing, baby. All or nothing. I don't do no half-ass things. All or nothing. I'm either naked or I wear a bandana or a collar, but it's like that's your options. I got a fan, got a laser. It doesn't really help me yet. There's a star. Going to the pond as well. Do you not have a collar? Well, you know, some of us have already been institutionalized at least once. I think I can handle it again. Yeah. I like the music in this game a lot. I've enjoyed everything about this game, and I hope you guys have as well. But I definitely this has been probably one of the most intuitive and fun puzzle games I've played in a long time. Well, actually, I wouldn't say that much because I mean, Manifold Garden was pretty damn good. Antichamber was amazing. Institutionalized? Are you saying you? Yes, I went to Twitch jail once. How does this help me? How does this help me? Are you against? Oh no, I'm totally for pineapple on pizza. It's delicious. 100% pineapple on pizza all day. Do you do any VR stuff? Yes, I do VR stuff. I have not played that though. The Room VR, I have not. Is it a puzzle game? It is. Oh, that sucks. Oops. I will definitely give it a look. I think that's going to be, you know, I feel like streamers always try to find a little niche for themselves, and I think puzzle games will be a good niche. I think it'll be a good niche for me. I like them. They're enjoyable. You guys tend to enjoy them. I think maybe we'll make puzzle games our little niche. How's that sound to you guys? You guys cool with that? Cinder's actually against pizza altogether. He only eats fruits and veggies like a good dog. Pat! I love pizza. What are you talking about? Give me that pizza. What if I do like this? If I bring that up there with me. Puzzle's good. I mean, let's be honest, there's no point in playing it if you guys don't want to see it, right? I mean, I'll enjoy it. I know I always will. How in the hell are we going to fix that? Oh, okay, I see. And this can go there, and now I can go back up here. Ah, ha, ha. I love pineapple on pizza, but I don't like tomato sauce on hot dogs. But I love barbecue sauce on hot dogs. Hey, close enough. I wonder what it takes to design a game like this. I don't know if I have the brain power to make puzzles. I don't think I have the brain power to make puzzles either. I'm being completely honest with you. So I only have one more, right? I don't have another one of these? Oh, I know what I can do. See, I don't have the brain power to make them, but I definitely have the brain power to play them. Making a game like this takes a ton of time and planning. Just trial and error to see what levels you create are fun. Oh, you gotta be kidding me! Okay. I could fix that. And that should be the end of that level. Are you kidding me? Oh. Take this. Whee! Done! Have you tried crossing the laser beams? I have not, Kanu, but thank you. It's 5:50 in the morning for you. I'm not sleepy. We should still get some sleep. I haven't seen one of them in a while. Thank you. Sure, I'll need this for something. Tangerine! What's up, Tango? Tangerine boost! What's up, Tangerine? You doing okay? You doing well? How are you? Oh, that covers that. Does that cover the whole thing, or can I run to the side of it? Nope, I can't. Okay. Oh. You can just... Oh, I don't need that one there anymore. Okay. There we go. And we can block that. And now I can go through here. Get rid of that. I'm doing good. How am I? I'm doing well. Alright, so now save that. Ah, not quite. Not quite. Can I cut through here? I can't. I don't need that. On a scale of 0 to 10, rate your well. I'm sitting about a 6 or 7 today. Right now, I'd say I'm at like a 7, maybe an 8. If you ask me like overall with everything that's going on, I'm probably at like a solid 6. Just been tough, man. Tired. Like all the time tired. Pictus 151 coming with the tier 1 sub for 1 freaking month, guys. We got a new enrollee to Collie Care. Pictus, you're covered into Collie Care from the pick to the us. I got you covered. Spam the email, spam flops, you guys. We got a bunch of new flops now. I'm gonna prescribe you some coffee and some cute tangerine art. Get back to me in about a week, and we'll see how you feel. Okay, I'll listen to you, Dr. Tango. Alright, I know how to beat it. I got it. I figured it out. Bringing this with too. I don't know if I'll need this. And then do this. Bring this over here. And you connect that there, and then you do that, and that's the puzzle. There we go. I had to figure out how I could go through those two, and I got it. We got it. We're good. Tangerine, I'll look at that after stream. I'll look at what you sent me after stream. I will. I wasn't gonna mention it unless you did, but I really hope streams are a good break for you from work life. They are. It's a nice break. Although I will say sometimes I do have to do some prep for stream, right? A lot of the things that we talk about on stream, like teaching wise, like a lot of the education, I want to make sure that I get it right. So I actually have to sometimes, for some of the more obscure topics or for some of the topics we talk about, I actually have to like do research, right? Like I have to take notes and prepare like an actual lecture. And sometimes that can be a little bit more daunting than I want. Sometimes I'm like, I don't really want to like spend, 30 minutes before stream relearning things that I learned in nursing school, but oops, that's not what I wanted. And it's usually one of those things where once you get started, I'm fine. It's just a matter of like actually sitting down and starting stream. Because despite what you might think, I still get nervous. I still get nervous before every stream. 100% I get nervous with every stream. Ah, okay, so this is going to be similar to the one that we just did. Thank you for educating us. You're welcome. Thank you guys for learning. I'm surprised so many people are so willing to learn. Like, I had no idea. Roaster!
Kahlua and the coffee does wonders for nervousness.
Kahlua and the coffee? Yeah, I'm gonna start doing that one more. You're right though, it does do wonders for nervousness. Alright, I know it needs to be done. I'm just not happy about having to do it. I'm nervous that I'm making you nervous. Stop making me nervous! Stop making me nervous! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Wait, did I get... I feel like I had another one. There it is. Wait, no. Didn't I have another one? Dude, Tangerine Boost! Holy crap! Gifting a 6-month tier 1 sub to Zephyr Blade. Dude, Tango, what the hell? Tangerine Boost, gifting out that sub to Zephyr Blade. Zephyr Blade, you're covered under collar care. From the flops to the beans, I got you covered. Tangerine, goddamn. Okay. Okay. Damn, Tango. I swear I had an extra one. H-Rail! H-Rail gifting out a tier 1 sub to the community. Holy freaking crap! Lone Wolf Chen, you're covered under collar care from the flops and the beans. I got you covered. God damn, guys! What the heck? There we go, that'll do it.
Woohoo! Shot spot!
How many collie coins would it take to make you eat a hot dog? Wait. What did I just screw up? Did I screw up my placement on that? Damn it. Thanks for the streams. You're a good teacher. Oh, thank you. I'm glad that you guys... seriously, you guys have no idea, like, how happy I am that you guys are all willing to learn so much. Because I feel when I first started doing the lectures, I was like, nobody's gonna want to, like, who wants to go to a stream to learn, right? They want to go and hang out and laugh and do, have jokes and whatnot and be an entertainer. It's like, I was like, well, what am I good at? Well, I like teaching. I can do that. And you guys just like ate it up. Done. Wait, what? Oh. Let me out of here. I had no idea you guys would enjoy it as much as you did. I really am. I'm not only am I impressed, but I'm also like, it makes me feel good that people are so willing to learn. There are only 3. Oh, that's it. We did it. Oh, you want to talk to me now? There you are. You kept me waiting. Well, screw you. I finally put my finger on what's bothering me. It's as if the answers you're providing aren't your ideas at all, as if they're latent, prescribed, pre-scripted, and you're just going through the motions. Does that strike a chord at all? No. Of course, you've only seen a fraction of the data I've archived over the generation. Still, ask yourself this. Why is it that everyone's so darn sure that 2 plus 2 makes 4, yet they can't agree on what they are, or what they're doing, or why? Those problems are more complex than mathematics. Mathematics has more objective truth to it. Perhaps mathematics is real while those problems are imaginary. I'm gonna say objective truth. What's the difference between having more objective truth and just being more real? Pose questions like, what should I do with myself? And what is the world really like enough? And you start to assume they have answers. What if your assumption turns out to be false? What if you're just a bunch of information processes? Is that the case? In that case, any attempt to answer that question will be flawed. Garbage in, garbage out. Wow. Call me garbage! Unbelievable! You're right, I've made some dangerous presumptions. Perhaps the flaw is in your reasoning instead. Aw, presumptuous. How presumptuous. Still, I take your point. None of the answers make sense, that much is clear. One explanation could be unreliable data input. The other is that there's a flaw in our logic. Perhaps we're just machines, endlessly trying to calculate the final digit in pi. You can't use reasoning to conclude that reasoning itself is flawed. It does seem there's much that is beyond our understanding. Oh hell yeah, there's a lot beyond our understanding. Everything leans around in impossible circles. You spent half our time reeling off greatest hits of idiot ideas. Wow, what the freaking hell? Wow! Now you're telling me you retract all that and agree with me? Talking it through or show me the big questions I have no answer. Hold your horses, I haven't given up on everything. Part of me wants to never speak with you again, and part of me wants to think you're actually been paying attention. Just to confirm, everything here may be illusory? There's no way to live with purpose or to discover the truth. That is your position now? Sure. Very well, I will take you at your word, but don't betray my faith in you, for it is in no way blind. Oh, that took a while to get out. Cheat me and there'll be no repercussions, but if you've really seen the big nothingness, the void of truth, then there's much we can achieve together. I will notify you when I'm ready to discuss further. Screw this guy. Illusory. Oh, I already did this. This game is too real, man. It makes you think. Not only does it make you think about the puzzles, but it makes you think about...
The serpent has poisoned your mind with his sinful thoughts.
Get out of here!
But you may still be forgiven, my child.
Oh my god.
You may still unlock the gate of eternity if you seek the sigils.
The sigils! I just gotta get these stupid freaking sigils.
Many ages have passed since the first words were spoken in the darkness. Initiate program. Generations of your kind have come and gone since those words. The garden has changed many times. But I remember. I remain. Only within me can you find immortality.
Alright, this is a time one. You're so happy, why are you happy? I mean, it's a good thing that you're happy, but why are you happy? What are you so dang happy about? What happens if I do like... Let me try something real quick. Ah, I can. Okay. So I actually have two of these then. I know what I have to do. I just gotta figure out how I want to do it. So I need to make a clone of myself to grab this and set it in there to open up the blue one. But I need to open up these pads somehow. And it's called time crawl, so that means that's going to take a while to do it. Okay, so my final position for so when I'm using this thing, when I use the recorder, the last thing I need to do before I end the recording is stand here. That's the last thing I need to do. So what I need to do then is I'm going to take the recorder. And I need to... What happens if I do this? Huh. Melina Catalina, thanks for the follow. Welcome to Fobby Flock. Welcome in. I got the right idea. I just gotta figure out how to do this. See, that stays like that. Oh, okay. Okay. I'm just gonna sit here for a second. Give myself a lot of time. Come on, Sidhu, you got this, Shugaka. I'm doing my best. I think I understand I think I understand what I need to do. Okay. Then I can run in there, grab that, set it up over there. That'll put the lasers there. How often do you stream? 4 days a week? I wish. I usually stream like... sorry, hold on. I usually stream like 2 to 3 times a week because it's hard for me to want to stream on all my days off. Alright, if I did this right, this should work. There, I go back. And he's going to grab that and put it over there, and then he's going to stand on that. No! I had it right! I had the right idea, but I screwed it up. Okay. Alright. So I'm gonna stand here for a little bit. Give myself plenty of time. And then we're gonna run back this way. I'm gonna take this, plop it there, stand here for a bit, and hopefully I'll be running through the other side. Alright, let's do it. Come on, me! Don't move, don't move, don't move. Alright, now I'm gonna run back the other way.
When
There
the
I go.
truth will not reveal itself, perhaps it is best to seek it
Shut
in
up!
another place.
I freaking did it! Yeah! Why don't you reveal yourself on that? Done! Cinder streams are just so calming? Well, thank you. It's the music from this game. It's the puzzles. Everybody you just work on some puzzles, right? No crazy shooting or anything, just puzzles. Dumbwaiter. Okay, so I gotta get the block. Okay. Alright, 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 alright. Understand that. I understand what it wants me to do. I just have to... Can I just... Can I just cheese the system? I sure can! Cheating always works! Beep, beep. Wait, where? What you doing back here? Oh, nothing new. Dude, I totally underestimated how good of an emote Cinderpog is. I didn't like it at first, but now that now I enjoy it. I think it actually is a lot better than I first expected. Doing another of the same puzzle then? Same thing, okay. What is that? What does that do? Guitar Freak, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the Fluffy Flock. Science Snowmew, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the Fluffy Flock. Wolf Dragon's Den, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the Fluffy Flock. Welcome in. What's up with this? Okay. I see. I see the star in there too. Okay. Alright, alright, alright. That's pretty much all I gotta do is a recording. I think the rest I can do on the other side. Donkey Wolf, hey! What's up? Stand here for a little bit, and then we'll go like this. Oops. Alright, shut it down, shut it down, shut it down, shut it down. I screwed up, shut it down. Any Cinder Poggerinos in the chat? Cinder Poggers! Alright, alright, alright. Okay, so I can grab that like that, place it there. What if I do like this? I got an idea. I have got an idea. When I was a pup, Pog was bottle cap liner. Try this. Watch this, guys. Watch this, watch this, watch this. Boom. Now watch. Boom. Boom. Oh, come on. No, it didn't work. It didn't work. No, please don't close. Okay, idea was good. Idea was sound. I'm gonna tweak it again. Grimo! No, don't do this. Okay, Cinder Pog with the clap is better. Cinder Poggers with the clap looks like I'm turning my head and clapping. Cinder Pog with the clap, it's way better. No, okay, guys, come on. It's so sarcastic, it is. Alright, let's see if that works better. Pro Gamer Cinder. Wait, I missed the raid! Y2J, it was just you! Y2J waiting with a party of 1! I made it so you gotta have at least 2 people for a raid. I know that seems mean, but 2 people. Alright, let's see if this works. Can you reverse the blank? No, not yet. If I get partner and I make it an actual emote, then you'll be able to. There it goes. Done. Look how beautiful it is! Look at that, it's so cool! Now watch, it's all gonna fall apart here in a second. Oh no, it'll stay hovering, sweet. Oh wait, we did dummy waiter. Last one's this way? This way. Oh! Okay. My day today is good, thanks. Oh, good job, Grimo! Y2J, I hope you're doing well. Can I outrun it? No, I definitely can't. I feel lack of bandana. Yeah, somebody paid for it to come off. What in the hell, Jacob? Did you just open the door? What in the hell, Jacob? Why did he just open the door? My dog just opened the door and came. Hi, Jacob. Was I not giving you enough attention? Jeez. I'm doing well, thanks. Well, who would jam that like that? Grimo! Stop giving me hints, but that's probably, you're right. But now I can't grab the jammer. Does Jacob go for walkies? Of course he does. Who would not take their dog on a walk? No, you have the right idea, Grimo. What do you think of bug sacks? Oh, you're asking Grandma. I mean, it looks interesting. I've heard it's good. I've heard it's better than people expected. Huh. Yeah! Ah, I tried to sneak it away. Can I help you, Jacob? Am I not allowed to make excited utterances without you having to get involved in my personal business? Oh my god, no, you cannot get up here. No, I'm sorry. Jacob, I need you to move. Hi, you're crawling all over my feet. Okay, thank you. Thank you. You've made your presence known. Thank you. What in the hell are you doing? He's like hiding under my desk. Jacob, why are you being... Why are you acting... Why are you acting stupid? You had like 2 big poops today. You were fed. You peed like 1,000 times. I gave you attention when I got home. What do you want? What could you need? No, do not climb up on my chair. Hey, no, I love you. You gotta go away though. He wants the snugs? Well, he ain't gonna get them right now. Hey, come here. No. My God. Look at this. What do I do about this, guys? Hold on, I'll show you. What do I do about this? Look at him, he's just sticking his head there. What do I do? Help! Help me! No! Jacob, stop pushing your head further! Hey, no. Alright, come on. Let's get your shit together. Hey, come here. Come here, why are you stupid? Not storming out. You don't normally get like this unless it's raining or storming. You'll be okay for a little bit longer. Got that audio when I click back into the game. I hear you have this thing called attention. I want to know why it's not mine. He always gets... Oh my god, Jacob, stop. Jacob. Ah! No! Stop trying to climb up on my chair. Okay, good. He laid down. Oh, thank God. You see that I am calm, and Suzy Dog is also calm. I am calm. He's just being... He's being a butt. I can't figure out this puzzle. God damn it! Up close and jammed. This seems to be the way to do it. It seems stupid that I can't grab that from up here. I don't like that. Okay, that was better. If I like... Hey, hey, hey! Oh, Daddy, hey, what's up? You bust out laughing every time I blow myself up? Well, thanks. Can I block bullets with this? I don't think so. I would love to keep this open, though. I would love to get this camera on my side. Oh, Daddy, thanks for the follow. Welcome to Floppy Flock. White Fox Effect, thanks for the follow. Welcome to Floppy Flock. The Brony Vamp, thanks for the follow. Welcome to Floppy Flock. It's gonna kill me, isn't it? It's gonna kill me. It's not gonna kill me? Ah. Is Jacob still there? No, he left. He finally got sick of me and decided to leave. Wow, that was good. No! God damn it!
If this trial seems impossible
shut up.
to overcome, have no fear. Return another time, and the answer may reveal itself.
What? What? No! No, 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 no! No! If this trial's been too tough for you, then come back because you suck at the stupid game. Shut up, disembodied voice! Oh my god. He saw me playing Among Us VR with Whiskey? I did, and I stabbed him in the butt. And I'd do it again! Okay. I'm so dead. Okay. Okay. Alright, alright. I got an idea. I have got an idea. Okay, that's not the idea. But I have an idea now. I think I know what they want me to do. I think Tux is home. I thought that launched up. Problem is I need that jammer. Oh, it stopped. What? What? I jumped onto some geometry? That was weird. Alright, well my initial idea didn't work out, but that's okay. Of course they don't want me to get the jammer in here. If I can get the jammer in here, then I can just close that. Is there a recorder thing anywhere? No. It'd be easy if there was. Yeah, I like jumped onto that. Can I do that? Okay. Does that mean I can do this then? Oh my god! Okay, I have an idea of what needs to be done now. See if I can execute it. Oh, I know what I need to do. Wait, maybe? gonna do this. Yeah. Not quite tall enough. Okay, so I gotta do 2 blocks then. Let's try that. Problet, hey! What's up? Will you forgive me? Of course. Come around when you can. Skeleton Ship, welcome to the Floppy Flock. Welcome in. Thanks for the follow. We got this one in the bag. All I gotta do is place that up there.
Woohoo! Shotspot!
Thanks for the host. Oh god, I gotta get the next cycle. Joshy Art, thanks for the follow. Skeleton Ship, thanks for the follow, guys. Welcome to the Floppy Flock, welcome in. There goes.
When the scale of it all overwhelms me, this is what I tell myself. We can calculate the age of the Earth, the size of the universe, the future of the stars. Sure, we are minuscule, momentary flashes of thought on a grain of sand drifting through the cosmos. But our minds can recreate the past and predict the future. On, say, Friday, 1,000,000 years from now, we'll all be dead. But right now, we know what the night sky will look like on that day. And so, in a way, we're not entirely bound by time. Knowledge is
Get out of my head!
a kind of freedom.
Alright, guys. Got 2 more. We got 6 and I think 7 over here. And then we get to start climbing the. Ooh. Hold on. I'm gonna go back and open up the other ones real quick. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna open up the other portal, or the other wooden areas, and then we're gonna come back here. I'm gonna end the stream there, and then next stream we will we'll explore some of these new areas. Actually, you know what? We'll just do this. We'll save busting open those doors for next stream. I got a freaking axe! Alright, where's Whiskey? I'm gonna stab him in the butt again. Can you even stab with an axe? You sure? I mean, if you push hard enough, sure. Alright, let's see who we can raid. Who we raiding? Who we raiding? Let's go raid Puffy. Guys, we're gonna raid Puffy. Guys, we're gonna go with the classic. Once you flop, you just don't stop. Today was fun. I actually wasn't, I'm gonna be honest, when I started stream, I wasn't really feeling it, and then now I'm glad I did it. Next stream will probably be either, I might try to get one in on Friday. If not Friday, it's gonna be next Monday. Those will be the next stream times. So maybe Friday, definitely next Monday. All right, guys. Let's hit up the discharge desk. Make sure you have your insurance card ready. Yeah, make sure you have your insurance cards ready. Co-payments due at time of treatment. If you're not happy with the coverage, that's 2 day and bad. Thanks for the follows. Thanks for the gifted subs. Thanks for the subs. Thanks for the bits. You guys are freaking awesome. Guys, I will see you either on Friday or Monday. Friday or Monday. We are going to eventually beat Talos Principle. It's taken us a lot of streams, but we'll get through it. We're going to beat it. I'm enjoying it still. All right, guys. I'll see you next time. Until then, bye.
Take me, you're the only road I know. Take